the only weird thing about this thing is
Yeah.
just it does 0.1. Yeah, it's very specific on what it buys. All right, so let's dig in. Let's go over the trade that we estimated the other day. So you've seen that that thing ended up hitting the top portion of
Mm-hmm.
where we thought, right? So this is
Yeah.
where yeah, right. So we got an 8% out of there. We're doing 40x's on here, so that's where you see the or even a 20x here. This is going to bring in 160% profits, right? So, but that's how you. Did you get a chance to go watch the videos on YouTube?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. I watched some of it today.
All right. And did you break down the see the how we just set up both trades back to back?
Mm.
How you do
Wait.
for Solana, and then we did
Yeah, yeah,
Ethereum.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
same system. Then using the putting in the channels to look for support and resistant entries, and then channels to look for future take profit areas. So that way you have targets, right? And that's pretty much you know
Mm-hmm.
that's a rinse and repeat system. So
Mm-hmm.
let me I don't know if I let me manage them real quick. All right, so we had live videos. I know we came yesterday. What was that? The third. Do 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 do. Here we go. How long was this video here? All right, that's currently live. We're on the second. There we go. So that was a 9-minute video. Here you go. So you have. How did we? All right. Sometimes the if OBS breaks up, the recording system will do a two-parter. So I'm gonna edit description here. I'm gonna put this here. Control V. This is that was your day 5. Boop. And that was Ethereum. Do 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 do. All right. So ETH trade setup.
Let me grab my
Yeah, yeah,
right back. Let me grab my.
yeah. You're good. All right, we're gonna save that. So what's up? Oh, Anton, what up, man? Matt, what's going on? All right, so guys, we're gonna get set up here. We're going to cover these trades here. Let me know if you have any questions or anything. This is the VC Crypto Nation. I think what was that setup? I think this is how to get a trade set up. Right, we did 10 minutes of trade setup. I got to go back and look at that video. But we're gonna go ahead and jump in here. Welcome in, man. Don't forget to hit live, guys. Hit the hearts on here. Share the live, guys. Share the live so we can you get more people in here, and then you can that gives you your notifications set up. Let me get rid of this.
Okay.
All right, so let's see. So same thing, with the breakdown. I was looking at the Ethereum. Ethereum did very well. It ended up tracking down, getting to where we want it. And now, when you see these, movements here, no matter what the market is, Mike and Benny, what up, man? All right, I'm watching in both YouTube and TikTok. Yeah, you can watch this, guys, on YouTube. You can watch it on TikTok. Both those are there. Now let's go over here and kind of like walk through. So what I want to do here is, obviously now we need to start. Day 6 is more about having you go through your setup and take a look at trades and so forth. So let's see if we can get you share your screen, and then you can just pick a tab if you want to just pick your trading view.
Okay. Share my screen. I do.
Huh?
Oh, I thought. I don't know what.
No, no, I was just getting done sharing my screen.
Thought I did that. Okay, here we go. Share the screen.
Yeah, so do 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 do.
Why is it not giving me an option? Today is really.
Well, it should be on the PC. If you go down, you're gonna have your a little box at the bottom left of the Discord thing. It should say
I do.
turn on camera, the share screen, start an activity, open a soundboard.
Can you open yours back up for a second? Just open yours up for a second. On anything, because normally when you're on and I share my screen, it just allows me to share it. And now I'm pressing share screen and it's not it's I don't know, it's okay. What is going on here? Let me. Right. Okay, I see. Mm. All right. All right. Hey, Discord. Where's this? This is sorry. Okay, here we go. Trading view. Screen now. Can you see my screen?
Hasn't popped up yet.
Oh, it's saying it's sharing. Choose what? Okay, choose what to share with CanaryDiscord.com. I chose what to share. So what is it? Okay. Chrome window.
So you can see, if you go to my share, look at my screen, right? And it should have a very simple thing on the PC. Are you on your computer?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you're in this live chat, right? Down below, there's always a square box that they put in that has your name.
Yeah.
It says go live, right? Turn your camera on. Share your screen, which is the second one.
Oh, turn your camera on.
No,
Okay,
you don't need to turn your camera on. You're fine there. But the next one over is share your screen.
Yeah, and I did that, and then another box popped up, and it's asking me which tab do I want to share. I pressed the tab, and it's
put change stream, and then you can pick what you want: window, entire screen, window, tab. So then you can pick the tab that you want. Right, so we'll share the Ethereum tab, and then you hit share, and then it'll pop. Then that will become your screen. Like, it should take you out of Discord and put it on where it's just sharing that screen, or you'll see that screen.
I'm sharing the entire screen. I press share. Does it matter that I have double screens here? I don't know.
Maybe.
Because I'm
Yeah, because it all should be like your Discord should come across and be on the same, I guess when you start open multiple tabs, you stay in the same window, but you're building tabs onto your
okay.
browser.
I closed all the other tabs, so there's nothing else open. Next time I think to do this because this makes me nervous. I don't like that.
You're good. You're learning.
Okay, I'm on. I'm on. Okay, it's asking me which screen. That is the screen I want to share.
What's up, Hills? Cody, what up, Cody? Now maybe popping out and coming back in and trying it, and then we'll go from there. If not, we'll just run through a quick. We'll take a look at these.
All right, I'll pop out. I really wanted you to see my. I'll go out and come back if it allows me.
Fanny Lou, what up, Fanny Lou? All right, guys, hit the like button there. Hit the likes. Get the hearts in there so we can get get some people up in here. I'll give you guys.
Let me get out.
I'll give you guys a lucky meme coin. You can go look at, do your own due diligence. But this coin is building huge momentum right now. And all your favorite poo coin, meme coin influencers who are always a week behind everyone that actually knows how to trade have finally started talking about it. And once again, guys, if you have any questions or anything, here is the email: vccryptonation@gmail. Send a Gmail in there. And guys, if if you're serious, you have to get serious one day about changing your life and making money, right? I talked to a guy that hit me up a year ago, Andy, and he hit me up yesterday, and he's like, I remember talking to him a year ago, and he was like, I got to make a lot of money, investing. And I was like, all right. So we walked through a whole plan, got him set up, and then he never came back. So it's been a year. He's down 20, 30,000. And he talks to me yesterday, and he's like, listen, I'm ready to do this. And I'm like, all right, well, here, do this and get yourself signed up. And he still didn't. I'm like, So that's why we set it up. Phone calls are good. It's letting, figuring out there eventually, if it's for you, it's for you. If you're changing things, if you're an investor, if you actually want to make money, you can't, making money is a mindset, When you decide to make money, you can make it. When you hold yourself back, it's just the man in the mirror. But we try to make this system. What we want to do here is make this so easy that everybody can kind of like copy this, and then we can test this out and grow it and kind of work with making a system that's so easy that even the worst people can do it. So if you're new to crypto, hit ones in the chat. If you're learning crypto, hit ones in the chat. If you're a new trader, hit ones in the chat. And then we're gonna break down this is a very simple system which you can go look on YouTube at our YouTube channel, VC Crypto Nation, and go watch the videos of the new people setting up and getting themselves together, and then watch the basics. You know what I mean? It's pretty simple here. We try to structure something that is, we're building a complete trading system around the person, which has never been done. Most people are going to sell you a trading system or lessons that are their personal lessons, and a lot of times you just don't understand what they're doing, and then there's no one to kind of cover what you don't understand, and then basically teach you how to create a trading system based on how what you see and how you trade. So let's see where she's at here. Tally! So Tally's resetting the PC. So we're going to take a look here while we're sitting around here. So this is being recorded, and I'm going to go ahead and go through a quick lesson here. This trade was the other day. You can see we did an 8% trade here on Ethereum. If you go back and watch the video from the other day, we built this trade. It hit all our targets, and it tapped out at the top level of the target that we had, and so that was very successful. Now we need to figure out what's happening as far as Ethereum moving forward, right? Let's see here. I have to learn Dex Tools. Dex Tools. Oh, Dex. So Dex Tools, guys. I mean, Dex Tools is pretty easy. When you go to Dex Tools, let's see. When you go to Dex Tools, there's a little. You find the. I put the website in the Discord, but to find this, any coin that you want. So this is dege.io. So dege.io, and then this is where you get a coin address. So anything that you want to buy or get, you always have to get a coin address. What is this? Countdown to July 20th, 16 days. Dogecoin becomes America's digital mascot. Oh, 16 days. Damn, they got all types of stuff going on. So here's where you see how it says copy. So we're going to copy the address, and then we're going to head over to Dex Tools, right? Dex Tools. And then when you have your Dex Tools set up, they're going to ask you a very simple question. They're going to ask you for the address of the coin. All right, and I'll do it. I'll do it here. Actually, let me change the screen. Change stream. Do window. There we go. All right, so now everyone's seeing. So you head over to the coin itself, which was Degen coin, right? I think we had the DEGE, right? We head over there, and then you're gonna see this coin pulls up, and what you want is the address. Copy the address, and then from there you're going to go to Dex Tools. Type in dextools.io, and then there's a place you can search the address. So just paste the address right there. Then once the address in, it pulls up the coin, and then you select the coin. Now once you're here, there's a little section on the left side. It says connect your wallet. So you see here you can disconnect. Under the trading bot, you would connect and then put your Phantom wallet. And once you connect your Phantom wallet, it tells you how much SOL you have, and then you would just pick how much you want to buy, and that's it. And then once you buy it, the coin that you buy will end up in your wallet. It's really that simple. All right, now let me get back to Discord. We'll get set up here. What's up, Craig C? Sorry, was just looking at Discord stuff. You can go back, watch this video, bro. I did a full walkthrough. It's on it'll be on the YouTube channel. All right, let me hop in here. Tally's. Oh,
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, I see you're sharing your screen finally.
Oh my God, that was like working a job.
Yeah. All right. Well,
that was like working a job.
This is just okay. Watch stream. All right. So pulling up the stream. Okay. So now. Faithfully made. All right, so now I can see your screen. Let's see.
Okay. Ethereum. Item Coinbase.
Yeah, go to your. So when you type in, another thing you need to do is go to Ethereum. You always have to put USDT.p, and then.
Oh wait.
So then when you hit .p. .p represents futures, right? So Ethereum USDT .p. So when you put .p, that's basically going to bring up all the places that you can do trades on. You're looking for MEXC. So MEXC will be the closest that to BitNEX that we use. And these will have different
Oh.
prices. Okay, they're going to have different prices than the regular market because futures operates a little bit different.
Mm.
But this will
So they
be,
have different price?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Ethereum might be 2,445 on the open market. It could be
Yeah.
2,452 on futures.
Oh, okay. Let me get rid of this screen, but I guess okay.
All right, so now
Okay.
you're on Ethereum. So now what we want to
Mm-hmm.
do is just walk through the first, steps, right? So let's go take a look and we'll do a purple box. Now let's see if the 1 hour is headed up. See if you can find the 1 hour.
Okay, I'm on the 1 hour and the 1 hour cross right here.
Tony White.
But
Yeah, okay, so that's okay. So what we're looking for here is, when the 1 hour breaks up, right? So even though it goes back down, that's okay. We just wanted
yeah.
that break. So go ahead and go up to the top, create a purple box. And so far, it hasn't gone all the way above the 80 and broke back down. So it stays as an open box there. So go get your bot. Yeah, perfect. Scroll it all the way over and give it a little bit of space because it's still working. All right, perfect. Now let's see if we have a um, 2 hour box that is coming together yet.
Okay, here's the
Here.
2 hour crossing.
Oh yeah, nice. And remember, when you the box, when it crosses, you would move one candle to the right because what it is that when that line comes in, you don't see it until it fills, which means would be the end of the beginning of the next candle. So like right there, that is exactly when it crosses. You would see the next candle. So you just move one candle to the right. Some
Mm-hmm.
people call it lag, but it's just because the candle it won't print that line until the 2 hour gets the next line comes. So the 2 hour box, just take the left edge and move it one candle to the right. There you go. All right, perfect. So that's where that you would see that. Okay, so let's see. Let's get a 4 hour. Let's see where we're at with the 4 hour. Hey, Dr.
Okay.
D, what up, man? All right.
Right here. 4 hour cross
And
right
what you can do
here.
is
So,
open up your chart a little bit, and that's just with your wheel. Like if you wheel it above the candles, it gets wider, right? And then if you wheel it on the numbers, they get taller. Okay. So throw in your blue box here. Oh, what another nice trade. And so far, that's still up. Do 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 do. Latricia, what up, Latricia Miller? Latricia, what's going
okay.
on? All right, let's see. Okay, so that's our area. Go back to the 2 hour because I wanted to see if that's actually broke down yet. Yeah, so bring that white box and close it to where we see it breaking down. So take the right edge. It'll be in the middle. Go up to the middle. Yeah, no, no. Hit. All right, hit Control Z. Control Z. Reset what you did.
Control Z.
Yeah. So hold down Control. Hit the letter Z, and that'll undo what you just did.
Okay, I did it. I don't know.
All right. So
Okay.
Yeah, take the right edge and
bringing
then
this. Oh,
yeah, bring it over to where it breaks. Keep going, keep going, keep going. It's almost where that purple is.
oh, right here.
Keep going, keep going. It's gonna about 3 candles, and you'll see where the
Oh,
2 hour breaks.
okay.
Yeah, it breaks the 80 right there. That's where it breaks. Okay, so and then the right edge. Go to the left edge now and move the left edge 1 candle to the right, and we'll get back lined up. Okay, so that is our current scenario, right? Now go to the 1 hour
Mhm.
and let's see if we can find the purple box within that 2 hour area, right? So to be on the front side, draw that purple box on the front side of the 2 hour box. So the left edge of the 2 hour. No, 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 no. You're making a new one. That's the new one. I want to see the one that was.
Oh, you want another? You want
Yeah,
another
Keep
purple
moving
box?
to the left. Keep moving to the left to where it breaks the 20. Yeah, keep going. It's gonna be 3 more candles right there. So put a purple box. You see how?
Oh, right here.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you can put it. You can put it where
Mm.
you've seen it. But yeah, put your purple box in. Because what you're doing is you're getting all your zone. Yeah, and actually it was a little bit further to the left because it broke above the 20,
Okay,
and then it kind of like rode out.
right here.
Yeah,
Oh, right. So, came right here where it broke.
yeah. It found support there. You can put the box there and then run it to the right,
Okay.
and then it will go all the way across until it breaks below the 80 line again. Yeah. Yeah, go back to your left, to your left, to your left. Go back left. It broke down. It broke right there. Go back. Right there. You see how it went
Oh,
below
right.
the red line. One more to the right. There you go. And that's a
Right
purple.
here.
Yeah, that's a purple line. Change that box. Go to settings
Yeah.
and make it purple. Darling Torrio. What up, Darling Torrio? What's up, Alex?
Okay.
Yeah. And normally if you're on there, you'll see like when you click it, there should be a little box somewhere that has like the coloring on it, and then you can just click the little coloring on it. Okay. So now let's break this down, and those are our boxes, right? So now what we want to do is let's just go to the chart. So double click on the chart and make it just all chart. Hop, what up, Hop? Okay. Well, that's all the moon. Double click the moon again, and then that'll get rid of that. Double click. Okay. Now upstairs, yeah, move somewhere to the right past the yeah. Okay. So now these are the trading zones that would have bring some trades for us. So we can see that when we got that first purple, it built momentum. Eventually the 2 hour came in and built momentum. The 4 hour came in and we had a pullback, and then we got some signal. So let's move to the 15-minute time frame, because that's normally where we're going to find some entries for us. So now you need to wheel it out till you see that purple box on the left. All right, there we go. So now remember that from the videos yesterday, Colin, what's up, man? Dennis, what's going on, man? Mitchell, what up, man? Ain't seen you in a minute, Mitchell. All right, so remember what we're looking for is trading, the trading steps or the process of where we're deciding to enter, right? So normally you have 2 triggers, right? The first trigger is the 2 hour RSI breaking 20. The second trigger is the 15-minute buy signal. So we can see there that when the purple box came in and let us know that there was momentum building, We then can see right before the white box came in, you see the buy signal,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now
Yes.
that is Julio. What's up, man? So guys, hit the ones in the chat. I don't know if you can see her screen. Hit the ones in the chat if you can see her boxes where she created her buying zones. Hit the ones in the chat. Isabella, what's up? And so what we're looking for are buy signals in here in areas that we're buying, right? So for us, she has a section here. If you guys can, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. You see a purple box, and then you also see where she has a buy signal, right? So that's going to be right here. There's a purple box and there's a buy signal. So those for us are going to be what we call triggers for trades, right? So now let's walk through. So roll the. We're going to make that one little section where we have the purple, the buy, and the white box, and let's go ahead and pull that like. So go to your top left so that you're not in an area touching anything, and then pull the chart up a little bit. And then what you're going to do is kind of like center it, yeah, and then roll and make it bigger. So you can roll a little bit here in the middle of the chart to make it a little bit wider. And then we're going to go to the numbers on the right and roll to make it taller. All right, so go to the numbers to the right. The price of the coin. Go to the price of the coin. Right, there you go. And now you need to, right, you need to grab the chart and move it over so that we can see the purple box again, the front purple box.
Is that too big, or you want me to make it small?
No. You just gotta
like
get
that.
to the buy signal that first happened. Right now you're in the last purple box. You gotta get it to the front of the white box. Yeah, keep pulling. Keep pulling. You're in the blue box right there. Keep going. One more. All right, now pick it up. There we go. So that's the buy signal that we're looking at right there. Okay, pull it up a little bit. Okay, so now, once we have that buy signal there, right, we have a section where we need to be looking for support, resistance, etc., right? So this is where go grab yourself a parallel channel.
Okay.
The purple box, Mike and Little Benny. The purple box are the 1 hour. That's the 1 hour RSI. 1 hour RSI. So did you grab a? Okay, so start to the left of
Parallel
it.
channel.
Yeah. So grab your parallel channel, and what we're gonna do is just look backwards and where it was coming down. You can see where right where the purple box is. The top right there is kind of like the top of that channel. You see how it tries to break up there but then falls down. So you would make the line across the top of those candles right after the purple.
I told you this thing was giving me the fucks yesterday.
Well, you gotta put it to the left and then drag it to the right. So put it to You don't want to be on the box. You want to give yourself some room that you can move it around. Otherwise, it's going to it'll be next to another line, and that line will do that. So grab a parallel channel.
Okay.
And then in the open space to the left, open space to the left, right. Now click and hold.
Okay.
And drag to the right. Which creates the line that we're doing. Right, drag it to the right. All right, now let it go. Click again or let go. And now pull down.
Down?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
That's your channel. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to change the channel. Like click, let it go, click again. Okay, so now go to settings. And there's going to be somewhere on there's a palette that pops up and lets it kind of like see it. All right, so what we want to do here is change the colors here. Let's make it white.
Which one am I making white?
Let's go to, let's see. Yeah, try the middle one. Make that white. Yeah, with the one with the yeah. Okay. Now go to the
Okay.
top one that's blue. I'm gonna make that white too. Yeah, right there. Let's see if that changes that top line. Perfect. And then the bottom blue. You can click to the left of those colors and you can go back and
Where my settings come back.
uh,
Damn you.
now if you do something like that, hit Control Z.
Okay, Control Z. Why am I not getting Control Z? No, it's not Control.
Yeah, should be able to hold down Control and then hit Z, and it will undo. All right, so go double click into the left of that area where there's nothing. Go to your left, yeah.
Oh,
And that'll open that chart again. Okay, so now go down to the settings. Go down to the right click on there. You should get settings for that, or find a line where your finger becomes the mouse becomes like a finger. Go down to a line. Yeah. Should get settings, and then all right, so that's for
oh no, those
right.
the entire. That's not the settings. Um,
Then you got to find like a
I-
line on it. So go like the perforated line to the left.
okay, here it is. All right, so
Get
now
that
the
one, yeah,
bottom
yeah.
you want white.
Okay, so now these are going to be the channel. So let's go ahead and move the top line up to the top of those. You see where those candles kind of go flat. You have everything's by the middle, otherwise you're moving an edge. Yeah, there we go. So that's where, okay, pull it down just a little bit. And so that's the first area that you can see that there's some consolidation. And then up a little bit higher, you see where it almost found some support originally on its first fall. And then it has a higher area that has where it tried to break out and then resistance. So pull that up a little bit more. And we're going to go up. Keep going up to the top of those next candles, right about there, right? So you can see there that that's where it's showing resistance. Now grab the bottom and then pull that up to the bottom of the candles, which is almost where the purple box is kind of sitting. A little bit about that, yeah. Yeah, a little bit higher.
At this red wick.
No, you don't want the wick, you want the body, right? Yeah. So that would be kind of like what you have as far as like a box. Now you have it a little bit crooked because you grab the edge on the right. So grab the right edge. The right edge, grab the right. You're on the left right now. Grab the right edge. Yeah.
This my left foot. Yo,
Yeah, that's the right. You grab it right, and now pull it long ways. Okay. And yeah, so
okay, is
yeah,
it
normally
straight now?
yeah, at that point you normally would just pull it out so that you'd have it, covering the whole thing. But yeah, that's fine. All right, so now when the buy signal goes off, this gives you an ideal of a top support and a a bottom support and a top resistance. The buy signal is actually triggering in the middle of the top of the support or resistance and the middle of the bottom, which is the support. So you see where the buy signal is? That candle's sitting in the middle of the channel, right? Okay. So what?
Here.
Yeah. So it'd be like one candle over. So you can see it's just breaking above that middle perforated line. Okay. So yeah, you can change your colors, man. You can do what you got to do on there. I use different colors, but so now we can see that we have a buy signal, right? And on that buy signal, that we can see is that the candle is above the middle of the channel, right? So What we normally have is we always wait for a 15-minute pullback, and the channel just allows us to have an ideal of where resistance and support could exist, and it also gives us an opportunity to see like trading patterns that could happen. So the trading pattern that actually happens here is most people um, who are traders will do a very simple process of waiting for a coin to break resistance, and then they will set buy orders for the retouching or the retesting of the resistance, and then that's where they will buy, right? So here you can see that the coin actually breaks through the top of your white line, and then eventually it comes back and touches the white line, and that's where it really explodes, because that's where normal people are setting their trades up. Okay, so now for us,
Okay.
we're doing a little bit different because even though it's doing a pattern that makes sense, we need confirmation for volume and price action, right? Because patterns only matter if there's money that backs the pattern. Okay? So for you, what you're going to do now is go ahead and go to the 15-minute, which you were on, and pull up the RSI. So double click on the chart. Let's bring in the RSI, because remember, we're going to do once we have a buy signal, right? And then we have the next thing, which is the 2-hour crossing. When that happens, we buy when the 15-minute resets, right? Which means the 15-minute RSI goes down to the bottom, and it starts to head back up. And you see how, like, on your 15-minute moon, you see how it went blue for you?
Yes.
So go past, right there. So you would set an alert to tell you when the 15-minute moon goes green, and that would be another alert to enter the trade. So now if you look at go ahead.
So I would just go in and add alert. But how would I tell it to tell me when it turns green? Is it just this crossing, or what would I?
So is that are you on the moons?
Yes.
Because it should say something else. So go to let's start that over. So go to a moon and right click on a moon, and at the top it should say add an alert to VC MTE moon tracker. Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Okay. Click on that alert. Now what you're going to do is crossing is what you want. You want to go to once per bar. Okay. Now you're going to go to messages, the top middle. You're going to create a new name, and you're simply going to put ETH 15-minute moon crossing, or CROS, just so you know.
Okay.
So that is because you have a blue moon, so you want to trade with the volume, so you need that green moon to come back, and then that gives you another alert in case you're not like seeing what's happening. You'll see the alert come in. Now if you're watching your 15-minute, you can see here as you're waiting for that moon to come back, you can notice that it keeps finding support on the 20, and eventually it hits the 0. It goes all the way to the bottom, right? Now once it hits that bottom to your right, One more. Once it hits that bottom, yeah. Once it hits that bottom, you look up, you see the volume just broke below the zero line, right?
Yes.
And yeah, right before the
Mhm.
moon, right before the moon. And now it's breaking back above it, right? So
Mhm.
you would be entering here just based on the system. The moon is just giving you another confirmation. So
Okay.
this would be your entry.
Okay. This will be my entry.
Right.
Okay.
And then you would also notice that if you looked up, it's at the top of the channel that was created that you looked at
Mhm.
earlier. So all of that makes sense that that is a solid entry. So that would be your entry point.
Okay. Okay.
We can go
Okay,
swimming in
good,
like
because
20
I
minutes.
was confused that when I'm supposed to enter, and how I figure out my entry point after I go through the steps. And so now this is confirmation on what I need to do.
Right. So now you have a I mean, we all we're really doing is it's the same steps, right? The 1 hour is headed
Mhm.
up. We get a 15-minute buy signal. During that buy signal, we start to look for a 15-minute pullback. We get the 2 hour
Mhm.
crossover, which is what we want. During this time, we're waiting for the 15-minute to pull back, but what happens is during that time, the volume turns into a blue moon, which means that it's
Mhm.
doing a pullback or a consolidation. So at that point, we have already drawn out our channel, so we have a pretty good idea of where the coin is going to break above a channel or reject from a
Mhm.
channel or consolidate below a channel. This one chose to actually go above the channel, and now the resistance became the support on your channel. So now you have a support zone, which was currently when the buy signal came, the price was in the middle of the channel. Then, as you were waiting for the volume to reset on the 15-minute, the coin happened to break above the resistance, turning it into support. Now, once it starts breaking above that, that gives you a good idea that maybe down the road, the entry point is probably going to be the top of this channel that just went from resistance to support. But what you're waiting for is for the pullback to see if it's going to break below that and go back down to the middle of the channel and then go up, right? And your confirmation is
Mhm.
waiting for the 15-minute to reset, and it starts to move along, It's thinking about resetting, and eventually it ends up going all the way to the bottom, which is where you wanted it to go, and then it broke below the zero line on the volume and then started to head back up. Now, at that point, the odds of this continually to go up and actually produce a
Mhm.
move is very high because we have a buy signal, a 1 hour up, a two
Mhm.
hour up, and a 4 hour up. So all our boxes, right, are ready to
Yeah.
go. So all we're waiting for is a 15-minute to retest, which it
Mhm.
does, the zero line, and then break back up to the
Mhm.
zero line, and that's our entry.
Mhm.
And then the moon is confirmation that it's crossing up, right? But we already have the 15-minute at the bottom headed up, so we could prejudge that and say, okay, we're going to get a moon here, right? Plus, it's also
Yeah.
sitting on the support. So
Mhm.
now you have all these, confirmations that at this point, with the support on your channel, that's showing support now. The odds of it holding there are pretty good, right? So this is where
Okay.
you would,
Yeah.
the only thing you really need to calculate here and to figure out when you make the decision here is like
Mhm.
the stop loss and the leverage that you can use. So previously, when you put this channel here, and you saw the coin break above the channel, right? So click on. We don't need the volume anymore. So that's how you enter the trade. So let's go to the chart so that we can kind of like go back and piece together once you put a channel, right? Because you put the channel in there. So once you put a channel in there, that gives us the ability while all
Mhm.
this is happening to kind of like
Mhm.
um, figure out what our leverage is going to be, what our stop loss is going to be. So the channel would have been put when there was a buy signal, right? We extend the channel out. Now
Okay.
what we're looking at is once the coin breaks above the channel here, and the 2 hour comes in, and then the four, once it breaks above the channel, we know that it's going to retest that support, right? Because it just broke through the resistance.
Mhm.
It needs to retest that. That is going to be what 90% of traders are going to put their buy at because they're taught to
Okay.
look for a breakthrough of resistance, a retest of support,
Mhm.
and that's the best buy. So
Mhm.
now that you have a
Okay.
channel there, you see that it broke through, right? Now,
Mhm.
even
Mhm.
prior to that, we can measure this channel and figure out the percentages from the top of the channel to the bottom of the channel, right? So let's say it doesn't break through the channel and we're figuring this out prior. And we say, okay, let's say it hits the top of the channel, heads back down to the middle of the channel, and then decides to go up back to the top of the channel. And that's a normal trade, right? So what we're going to do is measure the
Mhm.
channel from top to bottom, from top to middle, and
Okay.
that's going to let us know how much of a percent of this move is here, right? So go get your long position. Go get your long position tool. Yeah. Grab your long position tool and then put it on the left side at the bottom of the channel, and then pull it up to the top of the channel.
On the left.
Yeah, it don't matter where you put it. Okay, you put it on the right. That's fine. All right. So
Okay.
now it doesn't matter if you use the green or the red part of this. We just need percentages. Just make sure that the middle button. Okay, so
Okay.
right now you have your middle button at the top of the channel, the middle line, and now your bottom piece. So what percentage is the red coming up with?
Well, where is that right now? At the top?
Yeah, so you have the that's the middle. The middle of the green and the red is the zero line for for that particular indicator. Now, when you pull it down, that would be how far it goes down. That's like a stop loss, measurer. What's the percentage of the red going down to the bottom of the channel? And if you need to see it, you can
Or
right.
2%.
Okay. So what you can do is hit right click, get the settings, and then you'll see where on settings it'll have like where you can do the text. So you see how the text is set up. You can go to let me see if there's let's see if there's a style or something like that. But you want to make it where you see the text is at 12. So yeah, turn that
Uh-huh.
to like
Uh-huh.
24 or something like that so you can see it easier. Okay. So now the
Okay.
bottom I can see that it's 2%. Okay. So what that means is we know that this complete channel that you just drew out right there, that white channel from left to right, is a 2% channel. Okay. That means that if the after a buy signal, if it hits the top and goes all the way down to the middle, it would go down 1%. If it goes all the way down to the bottom, it'd be 2%. So what that means is if we're considering leverage, which we always are, a 2% move maximum would put us at risk where if we did a 25% leverage and it reached halfway down, that would be 25% stop loss. And if it went all the way back down,
Mm-hmm.
then that would be 50%, right? So it's right on the cusp. Now, as this starts to move on, if we see the coin after the buy signal, let's say that the buy signal happened, the coin got to the top of the channel right where the 2-hour was. Let's say the 2-hour doesn't come right away, and the 15-minute resets, and it pulls back to the middle of the channel, right? We know at that point,
Mm-hmm.
from the middle of the channel down to the bottom of the channel is a 1% move, right? Which means if
Mm-hmm.
we were doing a 40x leverage, right, and it moved down to the bottom of the channel, we'd be at negative 40, right? Which is that. So we know that we'd have to move our stop loss to about 40-45%, something like that, right? Which is okay. And so what we would do is to kind of like increase our odds is that we would, instead of using a 40x leverage, we would use 35. So that way, if it does go from the middle
Mm-hmm.
to the bottom, it's only doing a 35, it's at 35% stop loss, and our stop loss is set at 45 because we're giving ourselves that window of, a space, because being confident in this trade, we know that we're trading with the volume and the leverage, so we know that we have a good opportunity here to actually move up, right? So that scenario is where we'd say, okay, if this pulls back to the middle, then we're going to buy an entry at the middle and use that as our pullback and get our entry in on the middle of this channel on a 35x leverage, and then use the bottom of this channel as support, because the odds of it going that far are slim because we have all the volume with us, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
what happens here is that it decides to, instead of reject and come down and reset for the 2-hour, the 2-hour actually comes in and hits, which causes it to jump above the resistance line, which we were looking for the rejection, right? And now this
Mm-hmm.
changes to a trade where the resistance now becomes support. So now we reevaluate and recalculate and say, okay, we're going to look for a pullback that comes back to the top of the resistance line, which is now the support line, right? And now we know that if it breaks below the support line and goes back down to the middle line, that's a 1% move again, which puts us in the same scenario where if we're running a 35x leverage and we enter on the top of that line, that means that our stop loss stays at 45. We can go all the way back to that middle line, which seems really even more secure now, because now that we've broken above the resistance, we now have a higher support line, which makes the middle support even stronger because now it's the second line of defense. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because originally your resistance was your resistance, the middle was your first support, and the bottom of the channel is the second support. Now that it broke above it, it has now changed the resistance to support and moved your middle support from being the main support now to the second line of support. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So now that we see it break over, now we can be really confident that we can set a limit order on the resistance line, right? And that would
Okay.
be our entry point. And then we would run a 35x leverage, because even if it broke below that, it could only really go down to the middle of that channel, which is 1%, which gives us a 35% pullback, and we're sitting at 45% stop loss. So we'll survive that.
Okay.
And then, we go from
Okay.
there. And what happens there is that it pulls back, it hits our entry, and then measure the top move, and let's see how high we went.
You say measure the top?
Yeah, so on the green side, take your mouse and go to the numbers, and you're just gonna roll a little bit so it gets shorter. Yeah. No, so roll the numbers. Yeah, you had it. So right, okay, you had it where you wanted it, right? Perfect. Now go to the numbers. Go to the price of the coin, and then roll it. Yeah, and then that's gonna bring the top of the chart down a little bit. Yeah, roll it the other way. Yeah, roll it. There you go. But roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it, so the thing goes down. Yeah. In the price. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. So now, right there's fine. Measure the green. Move the green all the way to the top of the box, the purple box, where you kind of have it already hitting the top of that run. You have
Mm-hmm.
to grab an edge, a top left or top right edge. So this trade ends up doing what? 6%, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
6%.
yeah. So now you're running a 35x leverage, which would give you 125% on that trade. So now what we're going to go over is, to estimate a target. So now
Okay.
pull the kind of pull the because we need to see the left side of the chart. So right now it's a little bit hidden. So just yeah, put that back there. Let's see if you Control Z again. I want to see if why that's not working. Hit Control Z.
Oh, why that's not work?
Hold down Control
Yeah, it's not. I'm doing.
and then hit Z.
Yeah.
Z. Okay. All right. So we want to see the left side of the
Mm-hmm.
chart. So grab the chart and start moving it because we need to see the prior area. The other way. The other way. The other way. Because what we're looking for is we need to make a channel so that we can see. Okay, yeah, keep going. So right there. So now what we're going to do here is prior to the sell signal, right? We can see that we had an area
Mm-hmm.
that went up, right? So what you're going to do is,
Yeah.
yeah, that area. So you're going to mark off the top of that area and then the bottom of that area, which is normally where it found like support, right? So almost like you see how that green line goes across. Yeah, so that's kind of like if you look to the right of that, you see all those candles that found support. The lower half of those candles would be considered the lower half of the channel. The top of the channel would be where that buy signal was, where it peaked. So grab a parallel channel and let's draw that channel out so that we can see, what was our prior support and resistance, right? Yeah. So go to the top a little bit higher, a little bit down, a little bit down. You go top of the green to the right. Yeah, right. Let's see how you pulled that out. You can pull.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have your channel going up and down right now. You need to pull it sideways to the right.
Okay.
You can always set. You don't have to make it perfect when you do it. You can move it around. What you need to practice on is just clicking on the left, dragging to the right, and then pulling it down. So click.
Okay. So where do we want it?
Don't
Right
matter. Don't
here?
matter. Don't matter. Click. Drag it to the right. Create the line to the right, and then click, and then pull it down.
How is it not making a line?
Yeah. Go back to parallel channel.
Come on. And click.
Yeah. Click. Drag to the right.
Mm.
Drag to the right. You're always going to click and then drag to the right. There you go. Now
Mm-hmm.
click again. Now you're going to pull it down. There you go. Okay. So now pull it down. Yeah. So now what you're going to do is line it up to where you need it. Okay. So now pull it up a little bit right, a little bit lower, a little bit lower. So where it shows support to the right. See that whole area that went sideways to the right? Right when the sell signal came in, you can see all that support that it had before it fell. Okay? And the top of the channel, you need to pull down to the top of that green.
Okay. So
All right, always the middle. Okay. There you go. Perfect. Now grab the bottom. And that's about right. So you get a little bit higher. Okay, perfect. Now grab the right edge right? So take the chart and move it a little bit to where you can see more of the right, because we're going to drag this out past the buy signal. Keep going.
Here.
Yeah. Keep going to you show us more right. Perfect. Okay, so now what you're going to do is grab the top right edge of the channel that you made and then drag it to the right. Yeah. There you go. And then, yeah, make it level. Okay, right about there. Okay. So now, what you want to do is go to right there, wheel, hit the wheel, roll the wheel to where the chart condenses, where it closes in. There you go. So you can, okay, perfect. All we want to see is the beginning of the channel. You're good. Open it up a little bit. Go the other way. So we can see there that we have that resistance right there, that channel right there. And now grab the chart, click on it, and then drag it to the left so that we can see the right side. Okay. So now we can see that this channel is the previous high and low of the previous move, where it showed a breakout, and then it showed a top, and then it came back, and when it had a sell signal, we can see that it created a support zone, and eventually it broke below that support, okay? Which is where it goes down to the next channel, right? Now, the thing about this channel is that this channel is going to give us the previous support zone and then the previous resistance, right? The bottom and the top of that channel. So now let's go over to the entry points that you have. All right, so what we're going to do here is you're going to pull the chart over a little bit to the movie. Yeah, perfect. And then right there. Because what we're looking for is where our entry is going to be, which is that channel piece, that corner, where it retests that bottom channel. So open that up a little bit. Yeah, right there. Make it taller. All right, move it to the right. There you go. Keep moving it to the right. There we go. Okay, so now what we're going to measure is take your long tool, and you can see that just grab the one that you have. Grab the one on the chart. There should be one right there. Okay, move it over. Okay, so now you're going to put the middle of that, the green and red middle, the center, the 0, where you have the pullback. Because remember, we're entering at the top of that channel that you made, right before the buy signal. Okay? So we've determined that after it broke above the channel, we've determined that the support or the resistance that became the support is now the buy signal. So you need to bring you got the buy and sell, you got the long tool at the top of the channel you just made. You need to pull it down to the channel of where we're entering. Yes. Okay. Go to the top of that channel that you made first, where your entry would be. Put the mouse where your entry would be. Go down left, go down left, go down left. Go down. That's the channel right there. Yeah. That's your entry.
So this my entry, but you're saying
no. Go down.
You're saying
that's your entry.
Oh, okay.
That's the first channel we just did earlier. So so that's our entry. That's when it broke above the channel and then came back to that channel. So that would be where we set our entry point. Now measure from that line. Okay, measure from that line. And what we're going to do is, so pull up the middle. You got to pull up that, pull it up. You got to get the red and the green in the middle of that, A little bit down. Okay. So, somewhere like there. So a lot of times I just grab the middle line so that I can, when you use the mouse, wherever your arrow is, it'll create a cross, 2 lines, top and bottom. So if you grab the middle of that long tool right in the middle line between the green and the red, then you can simply use the mouse line. So take the mouse, go down to the middle of the green and the red. Okay, when you grab there, notice how your mouse has lines to the left and the right. So now you can just line that up with the channel line to your left where you have your entry. Okay? Yeah, you could just, yeah, that's fine. So it'd be a little bit.
I'm not understanding what you mean. Line it up with what lines? What lines are you talking about? Right here?
Yeah. There's a line that separates the green and the red color.
This line right here.
No,
yeah.
You're in the green. Yeah.
But
yes.
Yeah. I see that, and so you want me to line that up with the channel.
Right. A little bit lower because you're going to the entry point. You're above it, right? A little bit lower. Yeah, it's going to be right there. It's going to be your entry. The entry is the top of that channel.
Oh, so you line okay, so I see now.
You have the line on the middle of the channel. You're at the above the channel.
Yes, okay, I need to line it up directly with. Okay. I told you I'm a little slow.
Yeah, you're good. That piece needs to line up with where you would enter. Your entry's on the line above that. So move up one line. The top of the channel. Right there. Okay, a little bit lower.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be your entry. Okay, so now we can look at this here and take the top of the green and pull it down to the bottom of the first area of the next channel. No, you have to take a corner piece. So yeah, corner, right? Drag the corner down of the green. You got to go in the green box. So the green box, go to the green area.
Yeah.
No. That's the numbers. Yes, that's the green area.
Of the green. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, now you would pull it down. Keep going. That's the top of the channel. That's the middle. And now the next line is the bottom. Okay, what percentage is that?
Like almost 1%, 0.85.
Okay. So what we're doing here is we're estimating the possible. What we're doing here is we're estimating the possible move. Okay. So previously, we went back and what we did was we created a channel of the previous support and the previous high. Okay? So when we go from the next channel, the lower channel, which is the new support and resistance, which it broke out of, and we measure from the top of that channel to the bottom of the previous high and low, it is 0.85%. Okay? Which means, worst case scenario, the coin jumps, hits that level, and rejects and goes the opposite direction, right? The best case scenario would we'd make 0.85. Okay? So if we're doing a 35x leverage, that would be about 30%. So that validates that this is a trade that we can make at least 30% on, which is our target, which enters the fact that, okay, that would be a good trade for us. Now, obviously with all the momentum and everything else, the average trade that we get with our momentum being white, blue, purple, white, blue box together, we normally average minimal 1 to 6%. So we know that we're going to probably get a 3% move. But we only need 1% at a 35x leverage, because 1% times a 35% leverage, which is a 35% multiplier, means your 1% is equal to 35. So this is really good odds that this trade would give us a 35% win. So we can do $1,000 trade, a $5,000 trade, a $10,000 trade, and take 30% here. Now, with that channel being so close, more than likely it's going to break through that channel and go to the middle, right? So raise up that little corner of the green to the middle of that upper channel. And we can see that it's probably going to do a 2% move. Right? Now, if you go to the top of the channel, move up to the top, the main channel is going to give you about a 3.5% move, right? So what we always do is we take the top of the channel, we do a 50% on that, which means it would do a 1.5%, right? Above 1.5 to equal 3.5. So now we have a 1.5% target, which once again, if we're doing a 35x multiplier, if we do half of what it's supposed to do, we're going to still hit a 1.5% move, which means we only need 1%, so it's almost twice as big as we need it. It's almost 2%. So we're at that 50%, and then if we do another 50%, we're sitting at that 0.85. It still gives us 30%. So at the end of the day, we can be very confident with $1,000, $10,000, $50,000 that if we did a 35x leverage here, we will hit 30% profits. So if we're doing $1,000, we're making 300, 2,000, 6, 10,000, we're making 3,000. But now we have the areas of resistance, the areas of support, and now we have targets. That make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So today was your very first day successfully putting together, your trading blocks, your support and resistance of your current area with your buy signal for entry points, and then the previous high and low channel to see where your targets would be so that you could see if this trade, if you want the top of the target, half of that would equal a percent that would make it worth trading at your current magnifier, your leverage, and then your stop losses with the lower channel. If it breaks support and goes to the second support, will you be within your stop loss and not get stopped out? So you were able to work all those out based on mathematics, and at the end of it, it all turned out that, yeah, if it does half of what it's supposed to do, half of that, I'm still going to hit 0.85, which is equal to 30% on this particular trade. And my goal is 30%.
Okay.
So we don't care that it went for 6 or 7 or 8%. We expect it to do 6. We expect it to do 6 to 8%. Right? But what we're doing is we're learning how to limit all the risk by taking 20% of the entire possible trade, which makes our odds a lot higher than everyone else because everyone else is shooting for this higher levels. We're taking half of their levels. So we only need 20% of this trade to happen for us to be successful, where everyone else needs 80% of the trade to happen. Get it?
Yes.
So that's how
not being greedy, and
taking the 100%. Yeah. If we want to make more money, then we simply put more money in the trade.
Okay.
So if I'm doing $1,000 and I need to make 300, then this works. If I need to make 600, then I do 2,000. If I need to make 900, I do 3,000. El Padrino, what's up, brother? Right? So that's how you increase your money, is you increase your trade. You don't change the trade you're doing and hope that it goes higher. You know what I mean? Now the fortunate thing here, it does break out. It does hit the 3%. So in reality, if you're doing the 35%, you actually hit 90, and then it broke out from there. It gave you 6%. So you did 180% on this trade.
Okay.
Tony. So that's really what happened here, is that these are just cherries on the top. Hey Buddha, what up, Buddha Chris? Buddha in the house. What up, Buddha? And so now you can see that, you know, we're setting for the worst case scenario and we're celebrating the bonuses,
Mhm.
right? So if you're always, you know,
And when oh,
no,
sorry,
no,
go
go ahead.
ahead.
No, you're good.
Um, mm, when I do put a trade into the exchange, um, so I just use I'm sticking to the formula that we discussed, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm using the 40% take profit, the 30% stop loss
Yeah, and when you
every
calculate
time.
it, right? You see how we calculate it here. You know, sometimes you'll have to say, okay,
Yes,
that 30% wouldn't be the support area, so I need to run a 40. So normally you're going to be a
sure.
40% stop loss, 40% take profit, and that's what you normally
Okay,
run.
40 and 40.
Yeah.
Okay, and 40 and 40. Okay.
So Buddha, you got
Okay.
to everybody, man. If you're in crypto, doing crypto, the exchange that I've been using for the last, it's a year now since last July. I've been testing it out. It is BitNex. Okay, it is cashback. It is rewards. There are no crazy wicks. The you know it's so much better, dude. 1,000 times better than XC. Blowfin is terrible. Um, I've tried them, dude. You know, I've worked with them all. So this is basically easy to use. It's like MEXC, very fast, very quick. Has all the coins on there. More importantly, they don't wick you out and they don't liquidate you on bullshit wicks, right? So to sign up, man, go to my TikTok, and I did a bunch of videos for you. So go to the TikTok, and on the TikTok, yeah. This is so BitNex is no KYC. Okay, and I got it right here. No KYC and no VPN. So yeah, if you're in the USA, this is your exchange. Okay. If you're in the this is it. So if you're in the US, this is the number one exchange for you to use. All right. Super fast, super cheap, like bonuses. I'm still waiting for them to get back to me on you, Mike, to try to solve that issue. But yeah, super fast, super quick, cash back on our trades, bonuses. And when you sign up, man, use that referral code right there. You'll get cash back. And then put your user ID number in that video. So they're going to give away like $10,000 in trading cash. So everyone who puts their user ID number in there, they're going to get picked out for cash. So you get some free trading cash. And I did a video on YouTube, right? So go to YouTube. You'll see the videos on YouTube. VC Crypto Nation on YouTube. I did a video. You have to go to the live section. Make sure you hit that live. But I did a video on how to. I got $2,000 right here. They gave me $2,000 in trading cash, and then we turned it into $3,000 in 24 hours. Yeah, right here. How to turn a free 2K reward into 3K in one day. So yeah, you can go watch all those videos, man. Yeah, Buddha. Yeah, we did block, but we crushed block. Nobody had block, dude. We got block at 2 cents, ran it to 16. That was a beautiful trade. That was solid 8x. We crushed that, man. So we put 10 grand in. That was an $80,000 trade. I'm glad to see you guys popping back on, man. I know it's summer. I know we're all barbecuing. I know we're all swimming at the pool, and I can't wait for August to come in where everyone shows up again, and September starts rolling, and we're really like cranking out, man. But yeah, don't forget to follow, man. Go like those videos, comment on those videos, get yourself set up so you get all the lock-ins. So today we have day 6. Tally Trades, the student, she's in the Discord right now. She's on her day 6. She just successfully broke down a trading option for her red, white, her purple, white, and blue trade system. It worked out well. She saw how to find support and resistance, look for an entry, wait for the 15-minute reset, and then she was able to look at the higher channel, create targets for whether it would be worth it, do a mathematical equation to see what leverage she needs to use to stay within her stop loss, estimate it out, set up her limit orders, and then her trade actually did really well. So from there, it's kind of like, day 6 is just learning this basic package. So the next thing for her is going to be doing the same thing, except going inside the Discord and starting to post on the 10 trade review. So let me see. I gotta add now that we're talking about it, I have them kind of everywhere, but 10 trade reviews are going to be in the VC Crypto Nation, but we can, there's a free chat. Let me add it. Indicator information, free trade, free chat, indicator setup, BitNex, affiliates, sign up today. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a folder, and this is going to be the 10 trade review, and this is only because we'll put it in here, and we'll create that channel because there are people in both Discords, and the 10 trade review needs to be accessed. But you can put them in any one tally. Pick the one you're going to do. If you're doing Making Trading Easy, put it here all the time. If you're going over to the other one, you can put it in there, and then we'll go back and forth. But yeah, this is where you post. The one that you're looking at is at the VC Crypto Nation Discord. You can slide over there. There is the 10 trade review under the free Discord, where you'll see the examples of how we're posting the trades. So you might want to just stick to the one that's over there for you. Which I think, because I was looking at it, we want to be in one place. I think that's why we removed the 10 trade review from the Making Trading Easy. Because I think we're putting it all on the VC. Yeah, so let me delete that. So we're going to put it all on the VC side, and that way we'll move everybody over there. So that's the academy. That's where most people are going to be. So Buddha, join in. So Buddha, same thing. Go to my TikTok. Go to that link on my TikTok. Join the Discord. Should be VC Crypto Nation. Or if you're in that one, I'm going to start posting to join this one as well, Making Trading Easy. But if you're in Making Trading Easy, then we'll move you over to the, you want to have those two. VC Crypto Nation, because we'll do most of the stuff on the Crypto Nation side and move everybody over. All right, so today she put together her trading system, and she's starting to piece that together. So her next step is simply to be posting her purple, her white, and her blue boxes, her channels, and then her possible entries, and then when she does enter, posting the results. And right now you're starting off, and you'll be working more with something like $50 a trade or $100 a trade, and then setting your settings that. And then we want to get to where we win 7 out of 10 of those trades. Do that twice, and then we'll go from $100 to $200 per bag.
Okay, sounds good. Like one thing before we get off, if you look at Ethereum right here, I'm on the 15 minute. I'm still on this 15 minute, and I'm looking at the moon. So it's giving me a green moon, but we see that there's very little volume right there, right?
Yeah. So
okay, and
so we wanted to actually break above, show support on the 0, and start working its way back to momentum. Because right now, it looks like it's going to trend sideways, and eventually the volume will keep dissipating, and then we'll have the 2 hour headed down, the 4 hour headed down, and then we'll go into a short.
I just want to make sure I'm understanding it correct. Like,
there's
that
not
wouldn't
enough,
be a good track.
Yeah, there's not enough volume right now. See how the 2 hours coming down? Now, if the 2 hours shows support, right? You see how the 2 hours getting support down there? Now, if that starts heading back up, well, then your momentum's picking back up, and then the volume on the 15 minute will start to show support above the 0 line. And if that's happening, then what you're doing is you're trading.
I didn't
Hold
hear
on, hold
you.
on. Live visibility restricted. Your live is not eligible for recommendation and is restricted for search results because its primary directs people off the platform. This is a line for you. Your feed eligibility standards under community guidelines. Okay, whatever. So what this does is once that 2 hour comes back around, and then we'll be basically,
Hmm.
the momentum of the volume should pick back up, and then once we see that happening, so you need the 1 hour
Okay.
headed back up. So take a look at the 1 hour real quick.
Hmm.
So it's heading back up, which is good. But
Okay.
you can see
So.
it's kind of bending a little bit there because the 2 hour is headed down. You see how it's kind of, it's not the strongest. So now go to the 4 hour.
Mm.
Now let's see what it's doing. So right now the 4 hour is still breaking down. So that's where we need to find, that needs to find some
Hmm.
support, right? Because think of it like this: it snowballs. So when as they start to get further away from where they started, it's like a going downhill. It's a small snowball. The closer the 4 hour gets to the bottom, the stronger it becomes. It's kind of like a weight. So it's pulling down the 2 hour. The 2 hour is trying to pull it up by reversing, and the 1 hour is trying to pull up the 2 hour by reversing, right? But if you have, the 4 headed down, well then, it's going to be harder to pull up because it's heading down. Now, if the 4 hour was going sideways, then it'd be easier to see it start to pull up because it doesn't have a drag weight on it. You understand?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like it's trying. So the 1 hour is trying to pull the 2 hour up. The 2 hour is trying to pull the 4 hour up, but the 4 hour
Hmm.
is falling down. So it's harder to pull it up when it's heading down,
Okay.
right? So now if you have a 1 hour going up
Got
and the
it.
2 hour is sideways, or let's say the 2 hour is heading down but the 4 hour is
Hmm.
sideways, well, it'd be easier for the 1 hour to get the 2 hour to come up and then pull the 4 hour because the 4 hour is already going sideways.
Okay.
So we need the volume to start moving it. So now you're just at a position
Mm-hmm.
where you're looking. I mean, it looks like it's building momentum, right? It looks like it wants to go for another run here, but it has to work out its circles, right? So you want the 1 hour headed up, which it is. You need the 2 hour to come around, and then once the 2 hour starts coming around, and then you can start looking for sections of areas of support, which would be, the volume on the 15 breaking above the zero, and then holding above the zero,
Hmm.
and then that would be the last
Yeah.
hurrah.
And is there an alert? Is there an alert that I could put that I can place for that'll notify me when
Yeah, so go to the
if
so
the
go to
RSI starts?
yeah, go to the 15.
Hmm.
Oh my
Okay.
god. Hold on. Hold on, hold on. All right, um so what we're doing here is we're just kind of like um letting it build momentum, right? So we just, what we need here is so it's just like doing a previous support and resistance, right? So in reality, you would have to do here is you would have your support and resistance there, and then you'd see where that currently is, and then it needs to break out of that. And then previously, you need to go see if there's a higher area that would be a target, and then that's where you would be like looking into it.
Oh, sorry, sorry. I turned that off. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you're good. So on here, right, and I'll do this a little bit quicker. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Okay, and then you'll show me how to put. So where am I putting the alert in?
Yeah. So go to my screen. So you have to first of all
Okay.
get yourself in a situation where if this is going to be something worth trading. So let's jump in mine. You see my screen?
Sure.
So are you in mine?
Yeah.
Okay. So here you go. So let's say that you're looking here and you're going, okay, I feel like this is starting to build momentum, right? And previously we have these channels, okay? So if I go back on my 15 minutes, the channel that you made was off of this middle area here. But if I go back and I look further down the road, I can see that there's a channel back here that exists, right? And that could be, where it showed right here resistance, and then the peak of it, which is where it kind of went up here, right? Which is right about here would be that support. So then I would be looking to say, okay, this is probably the support area that I can see. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn this orange, so that one, I have my orange lines there, right? So I can see it clearly. Now if I go back and I roll out to where I'm currently at, right? And I open this area up and I say, okay, so where I'm currently at, I'm on the support and resistance of that middle channel. So the odds are is that it's going to move from where it's at to the top of this channel, right? Which is about 1.8%, which gives me good odds that, okay, this is going to move 2%, which means if I take half of that, it's going to be 1%, right? So that's kind of like this section here, and I can say, okay, this is a possible trade, right? Because I have that option where it's half of what I think it's going to do. So now I just have to go back and say, okay, so now that I have that, I need my 1 hour going up, which we know currently by looking at it, we do have our 1 hour going up showing support. And the moon, this is key, there's a blue moon, which means when the green moon comes in, I'm going to see a pump. So now the odds of that jumping to that 1% area is even higher. So now that that's set up, now I got to go down to my 2 hour and say, okay, let me take it the 2 hour section, and I want to see where I'm at. And currently the 2 hour is almost at the bottom, which means it's going to start heading back up. So we're in a good position here where the 2 hours is about to head back up. So there's what's called the last hurrah, meaning that before it closes out, there's going to be a last push of volume of orders, and then it's going to start, looking for the 2 hour. Remember, it always does two moves, right? So the 2 hour is currently pushing down. There'll be a jump up, and then it'll go into a short position. So we do have this last hurrah, which is about a 2% move. It does look like it could possibly pull it off. So then what we do is we'd go to our 15 minute, and what we'd be looking for here are things that aren't lined up. So here we already, if we were looking to get in this move, notice here that the 15-minute moon had already gone blue, went negative value, then the green moon came in, and now it's setting up to its first move above the zero line. So now that that's happening, what we'd wait for is the next pullback of the 15-minute RSI, and then the jump. So which means if we went up here and we said, okay, we're going to play this trade, then the trade that we'd be looking for would be, we'd be looking for the 15-minute to now come back down, retest this middle support zone, and that would be considered the lowest area of entry, somewhere around 25.80, and then from there we expect it to do its last bounce, which would set up somewhere at the top of this. We don't want to push all the way, we want to go to the middle area, and it ends up looking pretty decent because the middle area is going to be the top of all those other candles that had support, right? So you see how those candles all rejected there. So if we do get an enter off here at 25.80, and it does come back up to retest before it rejects, then what we're looking at is a 1.4% move. So what that means is, if we did our leverage here, right, and leverage was set up to where we did a, let's say, the first thing is to calculate our stop loss, right? So let's calculate the stop loss
Mm-hmm.
real quick. Now that we know that we're going to go for a trade, and we're going to calculate this out and go, okay, so if it hit below here, my next support is the bottom of this orange, right? Which means it'd be about 2% moves. So this could only be about a 35% leverage. Plus, we're in the last hoorah, which normally makes it where it'll hold a little bit tighter because it's finishing out its move, and then we'll take half of that move and say, okay, so we're working at maybe possibly you can see the other parts of these pullbacks here with the white arrows. We can see that the lowest
Mm-hmm.
part that it actually kind of went back before it bounced is right about here. So now if I measure that out,
Okay.
I say, okay, I'm going to enter here 25.80. If it does pull back, I expect it to at least find support here, which is almost 1%, which means I can do a 35 or even a 40x leverage here, probably 35 to be safe, and that would allow me to pull all the way back to here and then bounce up for the last hoorah and still kind of get to my middle ground of this 1.58. I only need a 1% move, which means that theoretically the only thing I needed to go to is right here. So this is the trading box. That's the orange is the bottom, the other 1% is the top, right? So the odds of this actually working is really good, with my entry being at 2,580. Pulling back, if it has to pull back, it'll find support on the next line. If it does break this next support, the second support is only a 0.5%, and then if it does bounce from there and we get the 2-hour run and the 1-hour moon. What's important here is that we have the moons that are coming, because moons cause spikes. So if I look at my 30-minute, my 30 just turned green, and that's the current spike that we're seeing, right? So that means my 1 hour that's coming around, and my 45-minute is coming around. I could see another spike on the 45-minute moon, which hasn't happened yet, and then another spike on the 1 hour moon, which hasn't happened. And let me see if the 2 hour. So I can even get the 2 hours already here. We have a 2-hour green moon, so we're already in that zone there. Let me see. What do I have? 2 of those. Did I put my? Oh, there we go. So here, I don't have a 45-minute moon. I don't have a 1 hour, and I don't have the final 2. Or do I have a 2 hour? So I do have a 2-hour moon. So there's 2 moons that I could get: a 1 minute, a 1 hour, and a 45. Right. So the getting that move and getting everything that we need is going to put us in a situation where, okay, I'm back to live, bum asses. So what it means for us is that that we have those moons, right? And those moons are going to create some type of jump. Fortunately here, when I look at my zone, I don't really need a big jump for this to do what I need to do. So this seems like a really good trade if it all comes back to 2,580. Right? And then I have my 1% move, which is halfway up to where it needs to go. I have a solid 2 support systems in the middle and the bottom to protect me, and then that's 1% down. So this is a nice 35% leverage play. What's up, Roses? And then that'll work. So how do we set this up? So now that we calculated all this all makes sense for us. 35% leverage. Our goal is 25.80 entry, right? So then we head over to, let's say, our trading platform, and we jump in here and we say, okay, we're going to do 35.80. So all we got to do here is, I don't want that. That's the VIP side. Blockchain bull. Hope you are okay. We're okay. We're doing some lessons here, looking at possible trades. So now I'm just going to pull up Ethereum. All right, let's pull up ETH. Oh, pull up Ethereum. We've estimated all the possible trade possibilities. We came up with a pullback to that 25.80. So we'll do 25.82 just to kind of like get in there. So, all right. So now we have eighth. We go to the limit order. Let's go ahead and we'll do a $50 trade. So we have 100 in there, and then our limit is going to be 22.85. I'll do a little bit higher than the line, and then I'm going to put a take profit, and I got to turn my return on investment to ROI. I got to turn my stop loss to ROI. I'm going to take profit here at 30%, and then my stop loss, that's one we're going to set up there. We're going to stop this at 35% as well, and then I'm going to open the long, and it's going to confirm all the information. Entry point 2585, list price, etc., confirm, and that's it. So we'll see how that plays out, but that's how you can finish off your last trade. But normally what I'm doing here is when this trade is kind of finishing its last hurrahs, when this 2 hour starts to head back up, if it doesn't bring in the volume on the 15-minute where it gets, the key here is that the volume on the 15-minute is showing us that there's not a lot of volume, accumulated, which means the moves will be a lot weaker, right? And then if moves become weaker, then people who are holding become paper hands. So when we see this 2 hours start to move back up and we don't see the volume return, right? Now, if the volume on the 15-minute was above the zero line and was pretty, healthy, then we could expect a pretty good solid move here. But you got to realize that we only have two moons that are missing, and that's the 45-minute and the hour, which means the move is already 30% lower than what we normally get, because normally we have a 15-minute, 30-minute, 45, an hour, a 2 hour, and a 4 hour, right? We already have the 15 to 30. We only have two trades, so this is 20% of what it normally would do. So if it normally does a 6% move, half of that would be 3. The other part of that would be 1.5. So we're expecting a low move here of 1.5, maybe a spike of the candle to 2, but we only need 1%. So this is what we call a higher risk trade, because the higher risk trade is where we're closing the momentum of this trade, and we're playing at the end of the candles, right? Still a possible trade, right? This is more clarified like a B trade. It's not an A trade, when kind of how we have everything going in our direction, right? Now, for me, a lot of times I'm tracking this trade like I'm going to go long, and what I'm actually doing here is once the 2 hour starts to head up and then we see the momentum of the 15 start to grow, I'm looking for the exhaustion of the trade, and I'm looking to actually do, which would be a smarter move, would be putting a short position at the top of these wicks here at 26.32. So I would be looking to get a pullback from the top of these positions back down to the support zones, right, which would be coming back to the middle. That would be a minimum of 2%. And if it dropped all the way down to the bottom support system, then what I'm looking at is a 5% move. See what I'm saying? So we can come back. Yeah. I mean, guys, trading is for people that want to be home. Most people trade, they work, have jobs, and they still trade. And then, they try to get more time in when they're working. But at the end of the day, the ideal is to actually have more home hours. So if you're in a position where you're already at home and you're already there, that just gives you more time to learn, more time to focus, more time to set up charts, more time to get more trades. And if you can find more trades, then you can take more qualified trades, and then you'll be more successful. So yeah, that's kind of where it's at. But so you see, so we'll track this and we'll come back tomorrow, and then we'll see like how this played out, how much of a jump we got, when it actually started going the other way, et cetera, et cetera. And then we'll know, you'll start to see. You're seeing things now because you're noticing the 15-minute value. But now that you know what you're
Mm-hmm.
looking at, now you have to start learning, like, what does it dictate? Like when you're looking at the volume on the
Okay.
15 minute and it's, not showing, support above the zero. Now you're starting to show where it breaks
Mm-hmm.
above the zero. Does it hold support and then run, or does it just break above and then break through? Right? So now you're starting to see where the volume fails to create a movement. So it's all starting to,
Yes.
you see how it's starting to click in there?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I
So,
do.
I mean, right now you're 25% through the
Yeah.
trading system, and now this is where, we have to kind of like, where your brain um, starts to see the patterns that make sense to you. And then once we know what makes sense
Mm-hmm.
to you and what you see, then you can start building steps around what you see and alerts around what you see to validate what you think is coming. And then when those validations come in alerts, then you're making trades that are based on how you see it and then what's happening. So that's really where you're at right now. So you're doing really good. How you feel? It's only day 6.
I know. Yeah, it's only day 6, but I feel motivated. Like I want to learn. I told you I've been trying to get at this for a couple of years now, and just haven't had the time or commitment. Wasn't committed as much as I am now, and so I'm ready. I'm dedicated. You see, I try to be in class,
Yeah.
because I really do want to learn this. I do. I don't want to, like, I can just put my money up there. I could get a bot to trade my money if I just really wanted to just trade my money, but I want to learn this system myself where I can be at home and trade. I don't have the luxury of just being at home right now. I have to work right now.
Right.
But eventually, I want that to change where I don't have to work and I can. This would be considered my work.
Yeah. And that's really, that's the goal, freedom. Everybody has different freedoms. There's a lot of guys that,
Yeah,
I got buddies that make a lot of money and they still go to work. I mean, it was at a point where,
yeah.
I was retired, but I was still in the office. Because it's kind of like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
let's go do a morning meeting and let's high five people and let's talk to some people and see what they're doing on their journey. Then we have a do interviews and then let's get a good lunch and then hang out with people, right? And so I mean, it really comes down to like what lifestyle you're doing, where you're at. I mean, the funny thing about being home or retired is that, or trading, is that you can do it anywhere. So like right now I'm looking at,
Yes.
I'm probably going to take the PC and my Wi-Fi, my modems and my nomads, because I have Elon Musk Starlink, I have a traveling Verizon um, modem, so I can plug it in if I'm walking a strip or sitting on a beach or if I'm in a
Mm-hmm.
mountain, I can get internet. I just turn on Elon Musk's
Oh,
Starlink.
nice.
Yeah, so I can be anywhere. I
I
can be.
seen that Starlink. I was
Yeah.
gonna get that. So how does that work? Is it good?
Yeah, so I mean, you can go on Instagram and stuff like that, and look up. A lot of times they do sales. So the little thing that you
Mm-hmm.
need is normally like $300, which is the modem, the
Mm-hmm.
little panel. But I mean, you can get them for $30.
Mm-hmm.
They'll do a big sale, and then when you get it, the service is
Oh,
$160 a month, and you just use it when you need it. So let's say if
mm-hmm.
you're traveling around and you're like, you know what, I just need to make sure I have internet. You pay the 160 for the month and you got internet.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be in the middle of the
Oh,
ocean if you needed it. So, I mean,
yeah. That's
that's just an
cool.
option. So it's an option that I carry in case I'm somewhere, remote.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, I have my non geo fenced Verizon business modem, and that thing I can take anywhere, and it doesn't matter what
Mm-hmm.
hotel I'm in. I've got high speed internet because I'm a gamer, so really I use it to like play Xbox everywhere I'm at. So I got to make sure I have 100
Oh, okay.
megabytes. Yeah. So
Okay.
I have a different
Okay.
different motivation for making sure I'm always connected, but it just allows me to be where I can go back and forth and get what I need to do. But those are things that I use. They work great.
Mhm.
You know, and like I said, a lot of times you become a trader, you want to be home, and then you realize that you want to be at your favorite outside restaurant, or maybe you want to sit at a park, and maybe you just want to sit by the pool, right? And now you start, you know, finding
Yeah.
out, hey, what modem can I use? How do I get internet by the pool? You know, you start becoming
Mhm.
remote, right? And
Yeah.
that's kind of how life is. And then one day you're just traveling around, like, yeah, I mean, I keep a very simple life, like, you know, I kind of I do everything by the worst case scenario. So I'm always like, all right, so if we do a trade, let's say I do a trade for $220 a day, right? Something very small. Normally, cost of living anywhere that you're at is about
Mhm.
$140 a day. $20 you can put to the side for your car. It's about the end of it's about $600 a month. Most car notes are 300, 400, you know, 500 if you got a luxury car, and then 100
Mhm.
bucks for insurance. So that's $600 a month that I have put away every day. I put $20, and then I have in from the 220, I divide that up and I take $100 for living, and then the rest of it is you know, for the day. So it's like, oh, okay, steak dinner is only, you can do a steak dinner for 40. Two people can eat for $90 in most
Mhm.
places. So yeah, that's my daily thing, and then anything over that,
Mhm.
I just throw in a savings thing, like, well, right. So once you know, once you solidify and you make life a very simple, kind of like journey, you realize that, you know, most of the time you
Yeah.
don't need a lot. But then once you organize your life and you're putting everything aside and you're putting investments in, you got all these other things going, you start creating residual incomes, and you're just stacking up your banks. And then when things come around that you need to buy and invest in, you know, you can put 100,000 here, make 30%, and be like, oh, that was a good 30,000 for the last 3 months. You learn how to make six figures multiple ways, you know, and pretty soon you're doing a quarter million a year. Your cost of living is only 70,000, and you're like, all right, what else we're doing? And then you're buying property, and you just start expanding your life. So it's a very, you know, simple process
Yeah.
to freedom, but you know, freedom looks different for everyone. Some people just, hey, I got money coming
Yeah.
in, I like to be at home, I like to barbecue, and I just like to watch TV. So, you know, it really comes down to your freedom.
Mhm.
Yeah. I take it you
Yeah.
never make 2 million in a day. I mean, you know, if you were watching 2021, bro, we did way more than that. But at the end of the thing is that,
Mhm.
you know, you have opportunities to where, you know, when things do come around, you can, you know, take risk, you know, like, and that's really the key to life. When you have those extras, like right now, that new Trump coin, right? Everybody's getting crazy. I mean, you know, most people at that point would be like, you know, you see something that early, you put 10,000 in, you'd already be up 50, right? But these are things you have to get to where
Yeah.
you have that ability, that playbook to say, I can take this risk, right? And it pays off. I mean, it's huge. I mean, I had ex golfer, and we were doing Safe Moon in 2021, and I was like, yo, I'm putting 10 grand in, and he was like, all right. He put 20. He made $387,000. So I mean, what that's, you know.
Mhm.
So I mean, there's moments. That's why we're in crypto, but you got to get to the point where, um, you had 2 million liquidated. What would you do? I mean, if I had $2 million liquidated,
Mhm.
I would go to TikTok, and I'd find a dude called VC, and then I'd learn his system so that I never liquidate 2 million again,
Mhm.
because it's not that hard, bro. You know.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's just you know, that's, you just don't know trading. That's terrible. And sometimes I watch people's trades, and I'm like, oh, that's it's not even it's terrible right now. But you got to learn something. So what we're gonna do, guys, we're gonna hop on. We're gonna do live trades every single day. If you want to see how we created the trade that we're waiting to happen, go to VC Crypto Nation on YouTube. Go watch the videos.